Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside Brew Brothers. We're at the Eldorado. Another good house here. Coach Choate to my immediate left. Yeah, give it up for the pack. Hello to those of you here. Hello to those of you listening on old school terrestrial radio. Hello to those of you listening on the internet, the Varsity Network, and the Facebook live video simulcast on the Nevada official Facebook page. Whoops, welcome inside. Nevada is hosting Eastern Washington at noon on Saturday.
Love it, as God intended.
As God intended, yes.
Yeah,
Noon
exactly.
kickoff at Mackey Stadium, and that game will be telecast on Nevada Sports Net with Alex Margulies on the play-by-play. We will start our radio pregame show at 11 a.m., Mike Edwards and me, and we're looking forward to the 10th old-time meeting between Eastern Washington and Nevada. This is the second time these two teams will meet since Nevada made the leap up to FBS. Last time Nevada played Eastern Washington, the 2nd of September 2010. Chris Alt.
That was a pretty good year.
Colin
for the
Kaepernick,
old
yeah.
Wolfpack. Yeah.
And that was a pretty good result, 49-24 win at Mackey Stadium. We'll talk more about the Eagles as the evening progresses. You are now right smack dab in the middle of your last Saturday and your coming Saturday. I guess you're probably closer to the coming Saturday now because you process so much so quickly.
Yeah.
Are you at any, has anything about the Minnesota result been revealed unto you from video and reviewing the game that wasn't there in your initial reaction?
Well, here's kind of how I process this is number one, as I've said numerous times, we have a small margin for error. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got to do things really, really well. We've got to play smart. We've got to play tough. We got to play fast. We got to tackle well. We got to block. We got to not turn the ball over. All those things, right? And we picked a really bad day to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And that was not our best football by any stretch of the imagination. And we tied together three really competitive, hard-fought games. Some of which the outcome didn't go our way, but we were competitive to literally the very last moment of the game.
Yep.
And I think that's going to end up being one of the best defenses in the country. I had a conversation with Coach Heatherman, the defensive coordinator, after the game, and oftentimes what you'll do is you'll have respect for somebody. Hey, man, they had a good game plan, or they
Mm-hmm.
maybe they have some stuff on us that can help us be better. And I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind if I gave you a call?
Yeah.
You know, really respect the job you did today. And coming into the game, he had high praise. I mean, there were some guys that he was very concerned about. Savion Red, he said he was concerned about. Jace Henry, he thought was a really good blocker and point of attack guy. Pointed out maybe some of our weaknesses that we were also aware of, and maybe some tendencies that we had. And then he talked about his team. And
They're pretty good.
And he brought up, like, I have a sixth-year senior playing middle linebacker who knows every call that I've ever, before
Right.
I give it to him. We've got a bevy of defensive linemen that are really, really talented. And one of the interesting little nuggets that he gave me, he said their starting nickel got hurt in pregame, and he was their best cover guy. And so I said, well, we noticed that. What was the change that you made? And he said, well, we just left our base nickel in and blitzed him every time.
Yeah.
And so I wish the other guy hadn't gotten hurt, because that might have helped us a little bit if they hadn't blitzed as much as they did.
Right.
But that's, it also exposed some warts for us. And so there's, you never lose. You either win or you learn. And that's what we got to do, is learn from this.
You never lose, you either win or you learn.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first one. Write that one down,
Yep.
everybody. So what's the teachable moment? Or what are the teachable elements from that?
Yeah, well, for me, the biggest thing is that, this idea of past failure equating to future failure is nonsensical. Mm-hmm. Like, the circumstances are different every Saturday, and one of the things I'm going to challenge these guys on is hey, where's the swagger that the team that took the field on August 24th against SMU had? Where's that at? Mm-hmm. Like, where's that team that went into a hostile environment at Troy and took it to the wire and got a win? Where's that team that put 500 yards up on Georgia Southern? Like, hey, mistakes aside, we played some really good football at times this year, and don't let the Minnesota game, be a reflection of what we're going to do in the future, because that cannot happen. You cannot let a team beat you twice. We got to find a way to get our confidence and our swagger back and walk into Mackey Stadium at noon on Saturday with a renewed edge and that same old chip on our shoulder.
I know coaches that have been around have said there's like a 24-hour rule, win or lose, right? That's for the players. That's for the student athletes. How is your process just kind of emotionally, right? You have disappointment or you have excitement, based on the result. Like, how quickly can you flush it and move on?
Depends, man.
Yeah.
There's still some that
Well,
hurt.
I'm impressed you're trying to answer that honestly.
Yeah,
I appreciate
mean,
that.
there's still some that hurt years later.
Yeah.
One here in Mackey Stadium back in 2010 that I can't get out of my system
Sure.
when I was at Boise. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think if they had high school goalposts in Mackey then, and if they'd have had college goalposts, whatever. But that's a great question, John. Yeah. So, and kind of, like as I talk to the guys on Sunday, I'm like, hey, look, this is like a death in the family. That's what a loss is in college football. You put so much energy into the preparation for the week and the psychology of the game and the energy and
there's so few games.
And the physical combat and what you literally spill blood between the white lines and then it doesn't go your way. And you walk in and it's like I said, it's like a death in the family. And so you got to kind of go through that grieving process, and you got to do it quickly because the feedback loop is quick and deliberate in college athletics and specifically in college football. And so, we've got to be able to compartmentalize that, not forget the things. It's not about forgetting things or burying our head in the sand and pretending like it didn't happen. I don't believe in that. Like the whole idea of flushing it, I don't get that.
Got it.
Because again, you got to learn the lessons. And we do it pretty quickly, I think. Kids are really resilient, man.
Yeah.
They really are. It's harder for us as coaches. I think you get that, John. And so, but yeah, I'm over it now, kind of. And I'll be really over it at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
That's great news.
Smoking a cigar and having a beer, celebrating a win.
We are live at Brew Brothers Inside the Row with Wolfpack head coach Jeff Choate. The Pack hosting Eastern Washington, the next home game, noon, this Saturday. It is brought to you by Ryder Homes. Get tickets, mynevadatickets.com, mynevadatickets.com. It's also Extra Yards for Teachers game, awarding one Washoe County teacher $1,000 and one school $5,000. It's Vamos Pack, annual celebration of Hispanic and Latino heritage at Nevada and in the community, Vamos Pack. And then it's also Youth Football Day, so bring out your team to cheer on the Wolfpack. A lot of things going on. Saturday at Mackey noon kickoff. You, in your Monday news conference, which I do enjoy.
PJ Fleck mentioned that too. He's like, hey, I usually don't watch coaches' press conferences, but I watched yours, and he's like, it was kind of entertaining. He's like, you're fired up, you're emotional.
You have things to say. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I try to entertain. Do what I can.
We appreciate it.
We should sell tickets to that.
It's not. They have the nice theater seating in there too. You defended Brendan Lewis, and I have a couple of thoughts on this. First of all, head coaches, quarterbacks, they get all the blame and all the praise, right? My second thought is I've long been I'm a Brendan Lewis believer camp. I think he's a guy that can win teams a lot of games. And I was interested to hear you kind of break down his 3 interceptions. One was a great play, one was a bad throw, and one he got hit while he was throwing, and I assume that was you had that open downfield.
Yeah, we had a two-move route to Cortez, and so I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. Like, you want to throw the guy under the bus. Well, as I told the players from day one, I said, I'll take the bullets, and I'm never going to put it on any individual player or any individual play. At the end of the day, I'm the leader of this program, and I'm going to step in front of that bus or whatever the case may be, and I'm proud of the way that kid's stepped into this role and competed for the job and won the job. And our job is to put him in the best position to win. And I don't know that we did that on Saturday. And so that's the hard conversation that we have in that coaches meeting room and making sure that we're doing everything we can to put our guys in the best position to win. And I felt like there were some things that we could have done different and better on Saturday. And we'll put that in our back pocket. And stylistically, not every team's the same.
Sure.
Matchups are different, but there's always something to be learned and gained.
I'm guessing, this is just me off the top of my head, I'm guessing the lateral pursuit from the front 7 from Eastern Washington is probably a little different than Minnesota's.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate statement, but I will say this. I think whatever you watch on tape with Eastern Washington, that's not what you're going to see in Mackey.
Okay.
Because this is a team that has a long history of walking into FBS arenas and breaking hearts. You know, I didn't have. Luckily, I was at places where we were able to eke out wins against Eastern, but competed against them when I was at Washington State and Washington, and they easily could have walked out of both those places with wins. And so they take a lot of pride in that. You know, last year they took Fresno to overtime. They've been a team traditionally very explosive and dynamic on offense, and try to create a lot of negative plays on defense. That's kind of what their MO's been. And you know, they're a tough out, man. They're a gritty, tough program.
All right, we'll talk more about Eastern Washington when we come back. First of all, everybody at Baselite looking forward to watching the Wolfpack get out there and play this year. Call Baselite for any of your concrete products needs. 775-358-1200, Baselite, 775-358-1200. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the head coach, Jeff Choate, Wolfpack Coaches Show, live at Brew Brothers from Learfield. Welcome back. We're live. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers, inside the row at the Eldorado, Wolfpack Coaches Show. He is Jeff Choate. The Wolfpack hosting Eastern Washington, noon kickoff at Mackey this coming Saturday. Coach Choate and the Pack are going to pick up that first home victory, and it's going to be a beautiful day at Mackey, so I hope to see everybody there. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Nevada Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Before we start getting into Eastern Washington, what's the injury update with the Wolfpack? You guys had some guys banged up against Minnesota.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I think we can start with Caden Johnson, who went out in the second quarter, I believe, of the Georgia Southern game. And he's going to be, at least through the bye week. We're hopeful that we'll have him for San Jose. I think for sure we'll have him for Oregon State. That's just kind of wait and see type of deal. Jace Henry, our tight end, suffered a foot injury that unfortunately is going to require some surgery, and so he'll be out a little bit of a time. We will have him back. It's just how long is this going to take? You know, they got to put a screw in there and all that kind of stuff. So we got that deal going on, and other than that, I think it's just your typical bumps, bruises, sprained ankles, things of that nature. So those are the two primary guys. John Bolus is a guy that we got back into practice. He'd missed some time. Had a non-contact injury during practice prior to the Troy game, and he's back and moving around doing his thing. So that's good for depth on the offensive line.
So let's, and again, you don't have to show your cards too much, but you've got you've reshuffled a bit at tight end now without Jace Henry for some time here. Josh Grabowski moving over from what had he been, a guard?
Yeah, Josh he's got
to be fired
He can
up.
do it all. You know, he gets to wear an 80 number. I'm sure that was a goal of his as a kid. And so, Josh has been awesome. I mean, he was a guy that actually we had actually penciled in as kind of our starting right guard, and then Spencer Lovell, who'll be here tonight, if he can find the row, will be the kind of took that job over during fall camp. But Josh was easily our sixth guy, and bring some value in that way. We'd actually used John Bolus in that role for the first 2 weeks, and then Josh has kind of assumed that. And then Andrew Svainea, who missed all of spring ball and most of fall camp with an injury, has rolled in as kind of the starting Y, and he had started to play a decent amount for us anyway. So I think if there's such thing as good timing, maybe this is good timing because he's got some reps under his belt. You're going to see Jaden O'Rourke obviously play a little bit more. The big Aussie. And then for those of us locally, we've got Chris Smalley that's going to be playing a little bit of tight end, and he's there's no substitute for smart and tough.
Is he going to wear 45 even though he's tight end?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
We don't need it. I mean, this isn't the NFL. We don't have to have 80 numbers now. So, let him wear 45. He can wear whatever he wants as long as it's eligible.
I like that. No, that's cool. Guys changing positions. I mean, your football players first, and then your position second, right?
Yeah, I'm like looking at Verge, like, hey, look, this guy's got to like slice across the line of scrimmage and hit this dude. All right, I think we can do that.
Yeah.
So,
let's talk about Eastern Washington. 1-8 all time against the Wolfpack, as we mentioned. Aaron Best, 8th season as the head coach.
Yeah.
Was he the head coach when
he was
when Montana State was playing?
So I'm trying to think. I think he took over my second year. So Bo Baldwin was the head coach the first time we played him. They had a crew. They had Kendrick Bourne at one side on wide receiver. They had Cooper Kupp on the other. They had an NFL.
Cooper Kupp, huh?
Yeah, they had some pretty good players.
Yeah.
And their quarterback was a kid named Eric Bierier, was a pretty special kid too. So, I'm very familiar with the program, have a lot of respect for that place and the job that Aaron's done.
Part of my prep is just you chew through the statistics, and I'm looking at their points per game allowed, 30. They're allowing opponents to convert 45% on third down. They're giving up more than 413 yards on average per game. I mean, do you guys consider any of that as you game plan, like what they're good at, what maybe is a strength versus a weakness of their defense, or do you try to play to what you can do well?
I think there's both of that. What's interesting, you talk about that, and I think both Monmouth, who they played week 1, and Drake, who they played week 2, both threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah.
But rushed for under 100. And so I thought that was interesting. And then they go to Southeast Louisiana, the starting quarterback gets knocked out of the game, and that team rushes for 250 and throws for under 100. And so I thought that was interesting because it's kind of like, all right, play to your strengths, and maybe that is the answer, is like, okay, do what we do. Like, we don't have to be anybody else. We just got to do what we do. And they're a team that, as I said earlier, whatever you thought you saw on tape, that's not what you're going to get on Saturday at noon. This is like their Super Bowl. I mean, I've coached at that level. When you level up, and especially when you go to a Mountain West place. Sometimes when you go to these Power 5 places, It's great to say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, but the reality is you're trying to stay healthy so you can make a playoff run. But when you see Idaho, come here last year, or go to Wyoming, or you see Montana State go down into New Mexico, they're like, hey, we're not that far off. We can get this done. And whatever we've seen on tape from them through 3 weeks, we're going to get a better version here on Saturday.
You mentioned your experience coaching at the FCS level at Montana State. What is that like for a roster, I'm sure to a man, who think they ought to be at FBS level? Is that a unique, or is that it only comes up once a year on the schedule kind of motivation? Or do we make too much of that in the chattering classes?
I mean, I think that there's definitely programs that, and I think Eastern's one of them, that kind of recruits to that. Like, hey, look, you're not every week in, week out, you're playing Big Sky football or you're playing whatever, but hey, we're going to go play Washington State. We're going to go play Washington. We're going to go play Nevada. That's actually a selling point in recruiting. And you're going to have an opportunity to showcase your talents and abilities at the level that you think you should be at. And so carry that chip on your shoulder a little bit higher on Saturday at noon in Mackey Stadium. And so I think that's kind of the message that Aaron is probably giving to his team.
Camelot Party Rentals, our great partners, makes it great so you can celebrate. Best selection of rental equipment for weddings and special events. Camelot Party Rentals, proud sponsor of the Nevada Wolfpack. Also, Shelter Insurance. Put Shelter on your team for your insurance needs. You will be glad you did. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. Get a free insurance review. We're your shield. We're your shelter. We are live with Jeff Choate, Pack head coach. Nevada hosting Eastern Washington at noon at Mackey Stadium. Get your tickets, mynevadatickets.com. Noon football here in the Truckee Meadows. Let's talk about your running back rotation. How has that evolved as the year has gone along, and what should we know about it? What should we look for?
I think it'll be constantly evolving. As I've told Mike a couple of times, like, that guy's got the hot hand, feed him. Or that guy doesn't have it today, roll this guy. We have a lot of depth and we have a lot of talent there, and each game, as you well know, as a broadcaster even, it takes on a life of its own.
Sure.
And you don't necessarily know how it's going to go, and sometimes it's simply watching contact, how a guy initiates or doesn't initiate contact. And that's very telling to me because, hey, I either want it or I don't. And if you want it, I'm going to keep feeding you the ball. And if you don't, you can watch with me. And not everybody's going to have it every day.
Sure.
And I love the fact that we have a ton of depth and experience in there. And, ironically, one of the guys that I was actually most proud of in that Minnesota game was Sean Dollars. Because he's had to take kind of a back seat.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. He's had to take kind of a back seat the last couple of weeks with Patrick and Savion maybe emerging as kind of, hey, this guy's got the hot hand or this guy's got this skill set. And, Savion got beat up a little bit in the first half, and Pat wasn't really moving the chains the way we wanted him to. And Sean said, give me my opportunity, even though the game wasn't in the balance anymore. But he went out there and got us a couple first downs, ran as hard as I've seen him run. I was just really impressed with his maturity and his competitiveness and being a team guy. And so super fired up about that, because I think that speaks well for us in the future. All of those guys are going to have roles and game plans.
Speaking of guys who wear number 4, Keaton Crawford going.
He's all right.
Yeah. What's the kind of operating philosophy with him on offense?
Well, I think there's kind of this unique thing that, without giving too much away.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like, we've got these 2 number 4s. So is that
Tell me about it.
Or is that Sean Dollars?
Tell me about it. Coach.
Yeah, you got to work on that.
Yeah.
But I think there's some setup stuff that we can do off of this, and I'm intrigued by it. And I also think that, like, that guy rushed for over 1,000 yards in Tyler, Texas when he was in high school. And he's dynamic with the ball in his hands, and how do we get that done? And not every play is going to be, like, now everybody's like, 4's in the game. I'm like, well, which 4?
Which 4 is it?
Which 4 is it? Yeah. And so
that's part of you like that. You like that the opponent, the broadcasters, whoever, they're on their heels.
No, I don't.
What's coming?
No offense, John, but I don't think about you.
It's okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's all right.
Maybe I'll send you a text, man. Hey, that's Keaton, not Sean.
You know what? Don't do that.
But anyway,
you keep the opponents on their heels.
Yeah, I think as we get more ingrained here, I think that you'll see more and more creativity from this offense.
I like that. Okay, we're going to take a quick timeout. No. First, we're going to let you know that MMS Events Unlimited mobile stage can elevate your concert speaker or special event. That's my favorite mobile stage in town. You can see them in the tailgate zone north of Mackey on Saturday. Book yours today, biggestlittlestage.com, biggestlittlestage.com. Rise above the rest. And when we come back, we're going to break now, and we'll be back with Coach Brian Armstrong, offensive line coach. We have offensive linemen in the house coming up.
Spencer Lovell and Mad Dog.
Andrew Madrigal, Spencer Lovell, and O-linemen. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but O-linemen are kind of my favorites.
Well, you'll have a great night then.
Yeah.
2 good characters.
It's going to be good. Edwards can't be here, so I have to carry the torch.
Yeah, where is Edwards?
He's double. I don't know. He said he's double booked.
Hey, can I give a quick shout out to my brother, because I know he's watching on Facebook Live. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, John. All right, timeout. We'll come back with Coach Brian Armstrong. He's Jeff Choate. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show, live from Brew Brothers from Learfield. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers. We're at the Row. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Coach Armstrong making his way. I like that. Nevada playing Eastern Washington at noon this Saturday. Howdy, Coach. You hear yourself? Hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry, guys. Late.
No, it's all right. There's no demerit. There's no tardy.
Okay.
It's all good. Welcome. And Coach Choate, you can come up. No pressure. All right, so I work with Mike Edwards on the broadcast. Mike's in the Hall of Fame. Mike played tackle. Yeah. And also, my dad also a broadcaster, and so growing up, I've always known offensive linemen are the smartest and best guys on the football team. And then Edwards has reinforced that. And, I want it to be true, but there is something distinct and different about offensive linemen. Is it the toiling, the violent struggle for no glory or kind of your own glory rather than outward glory? Is it the cohesiveness? Is it the uniqueness of ballet choreography and sumo violence at the same time? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's just, number one, most of the O-linemen I know are all really good dudes. They're easygoing guys. They're fun to hang around with. It's really one of the few positions, if not the only position in any sport, where you're going to play the whole game, and rarely do you ever, obviously you don't touch the ball unless you're Andy and you snap it, but you don't see the ball. Everything's happening behind you for the most part. And so I think they're just, most O-linemen, all the O-linemen I know that are really good, are hardworking, humble, blue collar, roll your sleeves up and let's get this done. And, it's not flashy. It's not, nobody really knows what you're doing unless you screw it up for the most part. And, but they enjoy being around each other. They enjoy working, and there's a certain bond that you don't really understand unless you've done it before. And it's a powerful thing when it's right. And so that's what I love about it. That's what I love about it as a player. That's what I like coaching.
As a coach, I was reading your bio, 10 All-Americans at various levels in college football. You've coached 10 All-Americans. That's a big number. How do you understand that kind of impact you have on a given student athlete's career or experience or educational trajectory? I mean, 10 All-Americans.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many All-American teams. I don't know. I could probably make an All-American team.
Oh,
if
come
I wanted
on.
to, but
Come on.
but I think obviously, the day-to-day, it's about winning. We want to win, and the older I get, the more I realize too. Now, guys I coached when I was younger have their own families. They have their own kids, and guys that you thought probably didn't really like you because you were in their business and
Sure.
in their grill all the time will send you a text and send you a picture of their baby, and the impact, and you probably didn't know the impact that you had on them, and honestly, I don't know that they really understood what you were trying to tell them then, big picture wise. And so I think I was talking to Virgil Green today about a guy named Cameron Norcross, played here, coached here forever. I just got off the phone with him earlier today, and Virg walked in my office, and I said, "Hey, Cam said to tell you hi," and he's like, "Man, I love that guy. Yeah. That might be the only guy that's not my dad that I've ever told in my life I love." and if you know Virgil very well, you know that he doesn't just say stuff like that.
Sure.
So, I mean, the coach-player relationship is unique for sure, and it's different with each individual, but it's nice to know that you make a difference, not just on the football field, but in life.
How did Brian Armstrong come to coaching, and then specifically coaching the Wolfpack?
Well, I went to a small college in Montana, western Montana, and most people that go to school for 6 years are called doctors. I was called an elementary teacher.
You're just thorough.
Yes. Every time I got a hard class or professor I didn't like, I dropped it and changed my major, and it took me a little while to navigate through. But figured it out, and started coaching, and really by accident, and just kind of fell in love with it. And my whole plan in life was to stay in Montana and be a head high school coach, and that was going to be it. And somewhere along the line, I just kind of became a GA and was with Coach Choate at Utah State, and then coached high school again, and then was a small college head coach for 7 years. I guess I was there 9 years, head coach 7 years. And then when Coach got the Montana State job, I jumped at the opportunity to get back with him and work for him in Bozeman, and was there for 7 years, I think, and was at Fresno last year. And when Coach got this opportunity, he gave me a call, and I was super excited about getting back with him and building something here. So that's how I got here.
Coach chose that line up with kind of
Fact checking is good.
Yeah,
he did.
I like two sources. That journalism. How did it go from your end when you got this job?
I think that's the most important hire besides the strength coach, and maybe they're co-equals in that regard. Everybody thinks about the coordinators. I think it's the offensive line coach and the strength coach. And I had a pretty strong opinion. I mean, I know Brian's a self-effacing, pretty humble guy, but I really believe he's one of the best offensive line coaches I've been around. He's demanding. He does not leave a stone unturned. I mean, he really works at his craft on a daily basis, and he's always trying to find a better way to do it and a better way to reach. And even though he's hard on these guys, he truly cares, and he wears that on it wears on him, and I can see that. And that's why I love him, man. I mean, I know this guy's going to do everything he can to help these kids achieve their goals and to have a great experience playing football here at Nevada, and ultimately to help us, restore the Union, man, to what we know it can be. And so he's the right guy.
Coach Armstrong, you mentioned you were a head coach for 7 years at a different division. How does that maybe helped your coaching evolution?
Well, I hated being a head coach. It's not very much fun.
Well,
so I think about that daily. My job is to try to make Coach Choate's job easier.
Sure.
Sometimes I help with that. Sometimes I probably don't. But no, honestly, being the head coach, you kind of, it's a different view for sure.
Sure.
And I think I became a much better assistant coach after being a head coach because I have a better understanding of the big picture. And, you get in you look through a straw at, what you need to do daily and maybe lose sight of the big picture of things. But, I enjoy coaching position. That's what I love to do. That's why I went to Montana State in the first place because I don't want to be a general manager. I don't want to be the boss of guys. I want to run a room and be with people I like being around, and the linemen are guys I like being around.
I've had the privilege of being in an offensive lineman room film session at various times in my career, and it's overwhelmingly complicated to me, right? Like, I can watch a basketball play get drawn up. I can even, look at X's and O's and understand you want this guy to go here and block, and ball goes there. Offensive line choreography, it's over my head. How do you teach it? And what do you think is maybe something that people should look for when they're looking at it?
I think the biggest challenge is getting 5 guys to see everything through the same set of eyes. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you got the best left tackle in football. If your left guard, isn't good, it's not going to work.
Right.
And so it's not about, the whole needs to be greater than the sum of the parts in order to be truly successful at the offensive line position. And so, I know coach is like, you guys meet too long. You meet too long. I think that's how you need to do it because literally, even though we've been here now going on whatever it is, 6-7 months, literally we can watch a snap of football, and I think guys in our room are seeing something slightly different than they've ever seen before for the first time. And the only way to build that is through repetition, and monotonous repetition, quite honestly, and seeing things. And because it's really about, hey, me trusting him and him trusting me, and nothing needs to be said. It's just an understanding because we've practiced this, we've done this so much. I tell them all the time, we need to be a nickel and not 5 pennies. Even though they're the same amount of money, it's a completely different deal. And so, seeing everything through one set of eyes is a big deal.
Pack fans, the Friends of the Pack is the new NIL collective, providing support for Nevada athletes. If you want to contribute or if you just want to learn more, go to friendsofthepack.com. Friendsofthepack.com, supported by Choate Cleaning and Restoration of Reno. We have Andrew Madrigal and Spencer Lovell from the offensive line. Madrigal the center, Spencer the right guard. When we come back, you want to hang out with these guys up here?
No, I'm good.
No? You good? You've had enough? All right. Brian Armstrong, everybody. Take a time out. Come back to Brew Brothers. Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers. We're live. Wolfpack Coaches Show live at the Row inside the Eldorado. Somerset Golf and Country Club offers pristine playing conditions, the best greens in northern Nevada, and a relaxing clubhouse. There's an all-new menu at the grill. SomersetGolfandCountryClub.com. Membership started at only $300 a month. SomersetGolfandCountryClub.com. Nevada plays Eastern Washington at noon. Noon kickoff Saturday at Mackey Stadium. Join Mike Edwards and me starting at 11 a.m., 105.7 FM. Total coverage you can watch on Nevada Sports Net, but you should really just come to the game. You guys, I'm here with Andrew Madrigal and Spencer Lovell. I feel very well protected up here. Andy, center, and Spencer, right guard for the Wolfpack, the Union. Tell me about the Union. You mentioned the Union, and people that know, and if you don't know, you don't know. So, give me the bullet points on the Union.
Yeah, I think it's a very important group of guys. We have a lot of values that we all cherish, and we all want to be tough. We want to stick as one, and play together. It's been a tradition going on now for 30 plus years, and I've heard countless accounts of the Union from different alumni players who play, like Mike Edwards.
Yes,
they've all told us how important it is to us. I've been privileged to talk to Coach Alt a lot about it, and he was there when it was invented, and how important it is to him and those guys. So it's a good group of guys. The best friends I've ever had, and I think everybody stays close, and yeah, it's fun.
Spencer Lovell, you played at Arizona State, Cal and Kansas before coming here to Nevada.
Correct.
Whereas Andy has been here for a good long chunk of time.
Oh yeah.
What's that like? 4 schools. I mean,
You know,
it just seems like a lot of playbooks to learn.
7 years, you
Yeah.
know, a bunch of line coaches, you know, obviously a bunch of teammates and stuff.
Sure.
I'm blessed, honestly. I've taken positive experiences from everywhere, and everything's been a little bit different, and you kind of get you get good at adapting, I would say, and really getting a grasp for the game itself, because, you know, things are a bit different, but at the end of the day, you know, the O-line room's going to be generically the same. So I'm just blessed, to be honest.
Did you two know each other when you played here last year with Kansas? Had you guys already met?
Yeah, so in 2020, when COVID was going on, I was training at the same place Andrew was. So I was already in college, and he was in high school still, but that's where I met Andrew originally.
Andrew, tell the folks about Norco High School, because it's a little, I mean, is it silly to say it's a little slice of Texas in Southern California?
Oh yeah, it is. You know, they call it Horsetown, USA. There's
Yeah.
no sidewalks on a lot of the streets over there. I grew up watching, you know, different horses passing by. I've seen somebody walking a buffalo, believe it or not.
Whoa.
I've seen, yeah, zebras, all that. It's a fun place, but
And
yeah,
high school football is very serious there. In the,
Oh, yeah.
in the Inland Empire, but Norco in particular.
Yeah. You know, I was very blessed to have a great coaching staff over there. Coach Weinkoff was my O-line coach there, and you know, he's one of my bestest friends, somebody I look up to and talk to all the time. And he played there, and it's a big you know, they say the fist over there, you know, kind of like the whole nickel or nickel thing we talk about here. You know, you got to stay together and everybody works together, and you know, they're all about running the ball over there and being just a hard-nosed team. So I really enjoyed, you know, getting to go through high school there.
One thing that blows my mind about offensive line play is that you guys can have success or failure almost independent of where the ball ends up on a given snap. You can even execute your block correctly, but maybe if your footwork wasn't right, you're going to hear about it if you step the wrong direction to start to play. It seems like it is unendingly complicated. How hard is it to do it correctly?
I mean, going on my 7th year, I feel like, you know, a lot of stuff is kind of natural, and kind of the younger guys in the room, you kind of have to realize that a lot of stuff isn't as natural to them as it is to me at this point. But I mean, that's kind of the beauty in it is, you know, not everything's going to be perfect, but at the end of the day, if you can strain to finish or keep going through the whistle, you have a chance. And obviously, we're never going to be perfect, but you know, we get the ability to strive for that, and that's the beauty of it.
Do you guys thrive on the semi-anonymity of your position, right? Because the broadcasters aren't really talking about it unless there's a penalty or maybe there's some tremendous, you know, pancake that opens up right in front of a ball carrier and we get to comment on it. But generally, you guys are kind of toiling without a lot of praise.
Yeah, I think, you know, the guys in the room, and, you know, we all watch the film together, and, you know, there's 5 different guys, so you got to watch every single guy, every single play. I think we all just appreciate each other, appreciate when we're doing the right thing, and, you know, we're also there to, you know, kick each other and tell each other, you know, you got to pick up your assignment and do the right footwork and make sure you're sticking to your job, because like you said, I mean, you take one step an inch the wrong way, and, I mean, you're getting beat or the guy behind you is getting hurt. So it's very important to focus on the small details, because the small details lead to the success.
What's it like to smash into the same guy for 3 hours on a Saturday? Like, you're just constantly going at it.
I think,
Like,
you know,
is there a respect? Is there a rapport by the end of the game? Like,
I mean, personally, every day of practice, you know, people say practice is boring, but I look forward to that, you know, to hitting people. And I've learned to just, like, it's fun to me. And, you know, Saturday comes and you get to really turn it on. You know, you're not just thudding up. You can put guys on their back. And to me, it's fun. And I think a lot of guys on the O-line feel that way. It's fun to be violent. It's fun to play that way.
but as far as like, I mean, offensive linemen, do you guys talk trash?
Yeah, there's a
You
lot
do?
of trash talking
Okay.
in there, but like you said, I think by the end of the game, everybody has respect for one another. I don't know how all the interactions go between different players, but I know at least for the O lineman and the D lineman from the opposing team, you know, after the game we talk to each other, and usually it's a pretty good, like, you know, good job, and that was a fun game, and I think we all have respect for each other and understand how important the jobs are. So.
Did you guys play any other positions in football before you became offensive linemen, or were you always up front?
Well, my dad, he was offensive lineman, so growing up, it was offensive line since I started playing football, so it's basically all known. So I guess I have no other option.
Okay.
Yeah. I played soccer growing up, and then my mom was like, you're way too big for that, so go play football. So
you'd be a goalie, right?
Yeah, I was a pretty good goalie. I was a pretty good defender too. But right when I got over to football, they were just like, I tried to play tight end, and they said, no, you're too slow. Caught one ball though. They threw me the ball once, but yeah.
And you caught it.
Yeah, I caught it.
That's right.
Yep, 50 yards. But no, I played a little D-line in high school and stuff. But yeah, mainly just always offensive line.
Okay, best trash talker on the Union? In the Union, I should say.
I know me and Andy really don't talk a lot of trash, to be honest, but did you say Isaiah World?
Isaiah?
Yeah, Isaiah likes to talk.
Yeah, okay.
He's a big talker.
Got to cool him down a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll talk to the refs too, and you'll be like, hey man, that's the wrong person to talk to.
And then finally, who gets the aux? Who's got the good music taste?
It's not me, I can tell you that. Yeah, probably Tyson Ruffins.
Ruffins or Snoop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys need to shout out anybody? Great, you did a great job.
Yeah, just the whole Union. They're a great group of guys, and love being with them and love competing with them.
All right, give it up, Spencer Lovell, Andrew Madrigal.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Take a time out. We'll wrap it up when we return to Brew Brothers Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Appreciate you being here. Wolfpack Coaches Show at Brew Brothers. No show next week because of the bye, but we'll be back the following week. We'll see everybody at noon at Mackey this Saturday. So long.